How do you build strategic alliances that gets results? Oh, wow, you are in my wheelhouse on this one. So, I want to talk about my favorite example, and even for those of you that do services, you'll still get this example. So don't get wrapped up about it's a product example. It's like, yeah, Randall, product examples are very easy, but you'll get the concept and it'll make sense to you. I want to talk about when the iPhone first came out. What most people don't really appreciate is the iPhone, when it originally came out, was a strategic alliance between AT&T and Apple. And you have to think about what was the business problem that was going on with the two companies. So with Apple still wasn't as strong in the market relative to Microsoft. They were still struggling they kind of solidified where they were in the education space, but they hadn't become a really, really strong, huge consumer brand with everything under the sun, because the iPod was the device that they had just launched, and it was a music player. So they were trying to solve how did they actually make a much bigger splash in the consumer market with a more robust set of products. AT&T, people forget, used to be a long distance company, and long distance was analog, and the long distance market was wearing out because people were playing out because people were going to unlimited phone calls, people were moving to mobile, people were doing a whole host of things. And so they saw that their business model was actually at risk if they had stayed tethered to that old model. So what happened? The two companies decided to work together, and they came up with something that wasn't in the marketplace. They came up with a new solution. All right. We know what happened with the iPhone, but let's just take a quick trip down memory lane around what happened when that phone first came out. The first thing was that AT&T did the deal with Apple to be the exclusive wireless provider for 2 years. Coincidentally, if you got a contract, if you got the iPhone, you had to sign a 2-year commitment, a 2-year contract with AT&T. And in that 2-year commitment, you had to agree to pay $30 a month for a data plan. And then you were charged minutes on their network, okay, for actual calls. Now, if you do the math on this, and I don't know what the actual cost of the phones were, but we can just do simple math. Let's just say the cost of the phones was $1,000. So if it didn't cost AT&T any additional money, if they had you on a data plan at $30 a month, that's what, $360 for the year. And let's just say for 2 years that's $720. Then they were financing the cost of the phone. And there's a good chance that if the retail price on the phone was $1,000, if AT&T was buying 1 million, 2 million, 3 million phones, they weren't paying $1,000 for it to Apple. But you can start doing that math, all right? Even if AT&T was paying Apple $500 a phone and they were collecting $720, they were making money on financing the phone, and they were getting you for the long distance charges to cover the financing costs of the phones. All right, plus the whatever that 220 in profit that they were making on 1 million units. That's $220 million in profit. If they have $220 in profit on 1 million phones, that's $220 million in profit. Just FYI. What I want you to take away from this is, because we know they did over 1 million phones. You know, they did 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. You know, at some point they were getting to 1 million a month, right, on that particular phone. And so you can start seeing right away how it changed the trajectory for both companies. It changed the trajectory in that for Apple, they were selling phones, but it created the opportunity for MacBooks, Airbooks, for iPads as well. We're up to iPhone 13 right now, and they have really and truly just garnered a huge market share for that entire ecosystem, along with the money that they make on the apps in the App Store. and iTunes and everything else they do. And then with AT&T, it established them as having one heck of a wireless service. And I'm not going to get into the AT&T versus Verizon and whether or not one's more reliable. That's a hardware conversation, and you can kind of argue between TDMA and CDMA which one of those technologies is more robust and so forth and so on. But we do know that it really and truly established AT&T. It gave them a competitive advantage in the wireless space, which they have been more than happy to leverage for this entire time. And it really rescued their business model. But more importantly, for AT&T, their core business, which is the wires, the cables that they have strung around the globe, they were able to leverage that investment without a huge capital cost. Because they moved from analog to digital, which they could move digital more effectively through their existing infrastructure. Now they've upgraded and added capacity because who knew people were going to consume so much demand, but it's allowed AT&T to be in the forefront of their industry because they did that deal. We're now, 20 some odd years into cell phones? 1996, 1993 was when this whole sleigh ride first started. So in their 3 to 5 year plan, that deal with Apple, that joint venture, that strategic alliance, okay, because Apple didn't have to buy AT&T, and Apple didn't have to go create their own wireless company, and AT&T didn't have to buy Apple, and AT&T didn't have to create their own manufacturing company to make phones. It was a strategic alliance. Each company stands on its own to this day, but that relationship drove huge value for both of them. Now, you might be saying, Randall, look, I'm not an AT and I'm not an Apple. I want you to know right now, big companies are nothing more than small companies that did a lot of things right. You could very well be. Now, if you don't want to do that, hey, that's fine too. But if you're getting into this game, you're looking at potentially having AT&T and Apple as your customers. Why would you not aspire to do something as grand like that? And even if you don't go for billions and billions and billions, even if you go to a smaller number, you can define relationships similar to the way they did it, that is strategic to your company and someone that you might develop a strategic alliance with. And when you have something crystal clear as a solution, like what the iPhone did, which was Steve Jobs' vision of being able to extend the body into the world with a device. That's really what he said. He wanted a device that extended the world to you as the individual. And that was his vision for that device. And Apple and AT&T worked together to make that happen. And so that's how you actually put a strategic alliance together, which is you have a crystal clear vision around what you want it to accomplish, and you find the right partner that actually helps you to get what you want done out into the market, out into the world. And that's how you drive the value from them. So I'm dying to get your feedback on this one, because we can go deep on this one. I'm trying to keep these things under about 10 minutes, but I get animated about this one because this is actually the heart of our curriculum. We walk you through in detail how to put strategic alliances together as your competitive differentiator in the marketplace, regardless to what you offer and where you're selling to. It will differentiate you in the marketplace when you do this right. You can put your iPhone strategy together. If you are AT&T and Apple, you can put that together and really and truly set the world ablaze. Make tons of money for yourself, create a legacy for your family, give back to your local community, make a huge impact, create generational wealth. It's just an amazing opportunity. That's it for today. Looking forward to seeing you on the live Q&A, and give me a call for a good fit chat. I can't wait to talk with you. Bye for now.